YB stays on your neck.
I know everybody's talking about the fight and all that, but we got the real news coming soon. But the fight is gonna happen soon. AJ got the rematch. Yes, we do got the rematch. We taking that rematch, champ? Of course. But it's gonna be on my term and our term. We're gonna bring it back here in the United States. AJ low key scared. Hell yeah! Why do you think he's over there trying to make the fight over there in Saudi Arabia? Like I said, I don't have no protection over there. The United States of America wants to. Never mind, I can't say nothing. But the fight is gonna happen soon.
Yo, my dons, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and obviously hit the bell for notifications. Well, what can I say? As you've heard there from Margin Diva Ruiz, and you can see on your screen now, the YB sources have turned out to be absolutely correct once again. All these men on my channel a few days ago, oh YB, Eddie Hearn said that it's all locked in and Ruiz is happy. What happened to all you man then? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like the exclusive, proprietary, inside sources are correct. As simple as that. When you're speaking to people inside Ruiz's camp, it's no coincidence that when the YB tells you 3 days ago that he don't want to fight, and all you man are saying, oh, YB, you're late with this one. Sporting Icons and Counterpunch Boxing, they released the news. Eddie Hearn said Ruiz is on board. Why isn't Ruiz on board? I'm confused. I'm truly confused. He's not on board because he's shook. I don't know how many more times I need to say it. He don't want the fight. He don't want it. Listen to him. He knows what he's signed. He's cooked. He's cooked. You've got to look into the behaviours of people. Is he behaving like a man who wants this rematch? He knows his guts for garters on the legal side. And when someone knows they're cooked, when they start talking about, it's going to be on my terms. It's going to be on my terms. We're going to... On your terms, are you stupid? There's not a judge or a court in the land who is going to rule on... All you've got is belts. No one... Contractually speaking, no one cares about the belts. No one. It makes no difference. There's not some legal precedent which says, oh well, yeah, in US or UK law, belts supersede written contracts. Ruiz is cooked. However, as I've been explaining all this time, despite Ruiz, this isn't a question of whether Eddie Hearn's contract is watertight. This is a question of whether Ruiz would rather go to court or fight. And at the moment, he's looking like he's going to court. Because, listen to what he's saying. Oh, it's going to be in New York. What planet is he on? This dude isn't a well man. He's living in fear. This is what happens. People start losing touch with reality. This is a clear case. He's suffering with stage 3 algamanism. Andy Ruiz is a very sick man. 100%. I've told you before. I've been speaking to people inside his camp. Now you can believe it whether you want or whether you don't want. But there's a reason why when I tell you 4 days ago he ain't on board. He's not on board. Yeah. All Eddie Hearn has essentially is a contract from April time when the fight was signed. My whole thing is Andy Ruiz hasn't agreed at any point since June 1st to be on board with a rematch. Now, that's not to say that Eddie Hearn won't win in court. I'm just saying that this dude, he doesn't want to fight. He doesn't. It's really not rocket science. Add one and one together. This dude, listen to what he's saying. He don't want no parts of it. He's realised now. He understands what's gone on. He's sitting there thinking, wait there a minute. How is AJ making 90 million? How come AJ hasn't demanded to go to the UK? He's understanding that what's happened. He's been set up. He's been set up into a $90 million turkey, and that's why he's looking to cash out. That's why he wants it in the US, and it's funny, I've got another video coming out, but in that video, funnily enough, what's his name, Ruiz even says, yes, I haven't got any protection in the US. What do you need protection for? Why is this man worrying about protection for? What do you mean you haven't got any protection in Saudi? What do you mean you only have protection in the US? Why do you need protection for? Why do you need Al Gaiman's dodgy judges for? I thought you was going to go in there and do the same thing. And what makes me laugh is, you got to bear in mind that this dude, this man, he actually won the fight. That's what's mad about it. You'd think he'd be thinking, you know what? wherever, whenever, but he's not on site. He's not about it. He's actually found out. And in a way, I blame myself because obviously Majin Buu is a fan of the YB. That's 100% confirmed. And the reason I say I blame myself is I'm the one who exposed it. I'm the one who exposed the conspiracy that it was a big $90 million turkey. And I've heard that Ruiz has sat there, listened to the YB's videos, and has concluded, oh my gosh, there's no way I can go to the UK. There's no way I can go to Saudi Arabia. I need that Wilder versus Ortiz kind of protection, where when I get touched on the chin, the doctor will step in for a minute and make sure I'm all right. That's what he's talking about. What do you mean? Don't judge the messenger here. Listen to him. He told you point blank, you haven't got any protection in Saudi. Protection from what? The only thing you need protection for is AJ. So that's what he's talking about. And this Al Gaiman guy, this is classic Al Gaiman. It makes me laugh. You got all these USA mongs talking about, Eddie Hearn needs to pay Ruiz what he wants. Pay Ruiz what he wants. This dude, how much was he making before AJ? How much was he making? Someone in some video said, oh well, he's getting paid 200 to 300. He ain't making that. He was on about 50 grand a fight. You don't fight Dimitrenko and get 300 grand. Bearing in mind, what's his name, Ortiz? Ortiz fought Wilder and got 500. Ruiz is on 50 grand a pop. AJ 100x his lifestyle. But that's the problem with people today, and especially after winning the belt. This dude, he's got classic stage 3 Al Gaimanism and stage 3 gassed off his head. He's completely buying all the hype, because he says here that, oh yeah, AJ's scared. Why do you think he wants to go to Saudi for? That logic don't make sense. Because if he was going to the UK, at least you could say, well, yeah, he's taking it home. Even though I wouldn't agree on that, because you've had your fight in New York. What? Ask yourselves this. What does it say about a man, aka Ruiz, what does it say about a man who has a fight in his homeland, wins it, but don't dare step out? And it's funny, once again, I've got another video coming out. Manny Robles exposes Andy Ruiz. He says, yeah, we're a world champion, we'll fight anywhere. Well, you won't fight anywhere, will you? By the sounds of it, Ruiz is shook to fight anywhere but New York. And that's the problem, in a way, with a lot of US fighters. They think United States is the world. They don't leave United States. That's the bottom line. They think it's the world. Unfortunately, if you're a world champion, and Ruiz, that's what I'm trying to say. Ruiz won the first fight. You got to think a bit deeper here. He's literally in fear for his life here. No joke, 100%. Because you'd think, why wouldn't he? If you whooped AJ for 6 million, whoop him again for 9, and then you're free and clear, and then you're the A side. It's like people don't want to work for nothing these days. They want it all handed to them. No one wants to say, you know what, let me work for it. Bearing in mind as well, AJ didn't just start cutting up $90 million turkeys. It's taken time. He started off with the Dillian White versus AJ fight, which is back in 2015. That was the first big one, and then it's kind of snowballed from there. It's taken AJ 4 years. This guy Ruiz, he wants to be making A-side shots on the back of one half-sharp performance against a clone. Let's get it straight. AJ was a clone that night. That weren't the real AJ in there. It was clone, 100%. It's confirmed. Yeah, I've told you before. My inside CIA sources have told me that night, June 1st, AJ was a clone. That weren't the real one, 100%. There's no doubt that weren't the real one. Going in there all glassy-eyed, and that weren't the real thing. That weren't. I don't care what no one says. You man can sit there and say, oh, YB's a fangirl, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, that weren't the real AJ in there. So whatever you need to do with that for yourself is what you need to do. But let me finish off this video by saying, one more time, just so everyone's clear. Until Andy Ruiz agrees to proceedings with Hearn and AJ after June 1st, that's when the fight is on. Until then, all these people, oh, YB, counter-punch boxing broke the news. He broke the news, it's on. How is it on? Listen to what Ruiz is saying, and it frustrates me, because I come here, I work hard, managing relationships, developing deep inside connections within camps. I bring you the news, and people come and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. And then 3 days later, this is the madness about it. 3 days later, when I told you, man, 3 days ago he weren't on board, people start coming to me and saying, oh, AB, go to Sporting Icons channel. He's just reported that Andy Ruiz isn't on board. I tried to tell you that, man, 3 days ago, 4 days ago. It's not rocket science. Just read. No fighters at the press conference. No promotional material from Ruiz. crying about the money, crying about the location. The man's all over the place. He doesn't know what he wants. He doesn't know what he wants. If ideally, what he wants is to not fight AJ, and I think that's what he'll do. And it's not like the precedent hasn't been set. One way whilst Eddie Hearn's contract is ironclad, you have to realise, and it's funny because people keep saying, "Oh, I thought you said Eddie Hearn's contract." Listen, unfortunately, contracts in 2018, we're not living in the 1600s where you could enslave people. And why that's relevant is this: whilst Eddie Hearn's contract is 2018 tight, Eddie Hearn and AJ, they can't force Ruiz into the ring. Simple. And all Ruiz has to do is pull a Fury versus Vlad 2, or a Floyd versus De La Hoya 2, and say, I'm retiring, because Floyd for De La Hoya got beat by Mayweather, and De La Hoya was the A side. 2-2s, Floyd, in my opinion, got shook, didn't really want that work, and decided to retire rather than play out the rematch clause. You can do that if you retire, because I believe, I'm not sure whether this is the case for AJ versus Ruiz contract, but I believe the industry standard is it's normally like the rematch clause is valid for a year. So there's several things Ruiz can do. Number one, he could he could retire. Number two, potentially he could pull an injury. However, I have heard from her that allegedly the injury stuff won't ride, because I think Eddie Hearn said that the contract he's written, it goes on in perpetuity. So if Ruiz tries to pull an injury, it just delays the year. The year don't start until whatever. That's what I've heard him say anyway. But listen, hold tight. Your boy the YB has got more exclusive sources coming soon. You man just got to start believing it. I don't know what more. At this point, I'm confused. I don't know what more you want me to do, because from where I'm sitting, bringing you lot the news 3 days before it happens, I thought that's what you should be. You man should be celebrating it, not hating on it. Yeah. Start appreciating just deep inside. I got wiretapped all over the place. Your boy the YB's listening. I'm listening all over. Ruiz wiretapped, Gaiman wiretapped. How do you think I know about their conversations with the physicians? How do you think I know that Ruiz is in fear? He's got deep anxiety. He's on the Prozac and a lot of it. The whole lot. He's on the whole Ambien, a lot of it. My man's not. He's not feeling right. Look at his behaviour. Does he look like a man who's certain? 1 minute is saying, oh, we don't have protection there, and oh, we need 9 minutes, oh, we need a better location. It's all over the place. AJ said, listen, date, location. There's no cloudiness of mind with AJ. He's clean of sight. Eddie Hearn, deal with it. Date and venue, done. You don't hear AJ talking about, I need more money, I need a different location. In fact, AJ's that confident. This is what scares Ruiz. AJ's that confident that he actually removed it from the UK. The fight was in the UK. Ruiz started crying, and they put it in Saudi. Now, that ain't good enough. The man wants it in New York. Well, it didn't work out, unfortunately. Beat AJ again, and of course, me, myself, if Ruiz beats AJ again, I'll sit here and say, this man's the A-side, no matter who. He'll be the A-side versus Beyonce. He'll be the A-side versus anyone. Simple. But you've got to earn it. You can't have one good performance and suddenly become the A-side. We're going to do it on our term. This guy is gassed. Seriously. He's got deep level 3, level 4 Al Gaimanism. He's got Al Gaimanitis. 100%. This guy's ill. He's not thinking straight. Simple.